as we watch for the white flag.
You can see how straight Rahal comes off the turns. Look at how easy he's going through here. He's conserving also. It always comes down here at Long Beach to fuel at the latter part of the race. Seems like it never changes.
Paul Tracy right now is closer to winning his first IndyCar race than he has ever been. You get the feeling it's something that's going to happen if there's just enough fuel left in that tank.
And Rahal has come by the start-finish line very, very slow. He picks up speed now as he heads down into turn 1. There's Paul Tracy, the 12 car. He is so close to a victory, and I'm telling you, once he wins, he is going to be very hard to catch. He fell off a mountain bike that he was playing with earlier in the week. His hands are cut and bruised. His right ankle is very sore. He was icing it down heavily yesterday, but I don't imagine he feels any of that now as Paul Tracy on his final 3 turns, and he will look at a checkered flag if only he can make it here through the hairpin in safety. Paul Tracy makes a turn onto the straightaway. The checkered flag will lie just ahead, and Paul Tracy has finally done it. He wins an IndyCar race. Paul Tracy becomes a champion in the IndyCars, the 10th different driver to win in a Penske car, and Paul Tracy has done it. The battle still on the course is for second place, though broken off for the moment, between Nigel Mansell and Emerson Fittipaldi, with Fittipaldi occupying second place at the moment. Now Paul Tracy takes a look at the white flag. One more lap to go for Tracy. Traffic ahead of him. We watch for that battle for second place as it is ready to stream under the flag as well, but Tracy has a commanding lead over the rest of the field.
This will tighten the points chase if it finishes this way, because of course Emerson Fittipaldi will close up on Nigel Mansell, not terrifying him, not making him shake in his boots exactly, but closing up and making the season a good deal more interesting here at the halfway point.
Second win of the season, second win of the career for Paul Tracy. He finishes out this lap an extra $100,000 because he started on the pole and has carried it all the way to the checkered flag. No opposition for Tracy, and the battle for second place continues to be broken off for the moment. So it's Tracy, followed by Fittipaldi, followed by Mansell, and Stefan Johansson in fourth. Now Paul Tracy being so very careful. He makes the move into the last chicane. The final left. And Paul Tracy sees the twin checkered flags the second time in his career, and Paul Tracy has won here at Cleveland. As the white flag, one more lap to go, will be displayed to Paul Tracy as he flashes over the start-finish line alongside of Teo Fabi.
As we watch the cars that are remaining try to do the passing, remember there is no more blocking allowed. Wally Dallenbach is watching them. That's like a policeman watching a speeder.
So Paul Tracy runs alone, unchallenged at the lead of the race. He has only to coast it home.
And if he had pain from his throat early in the game, I bet he's not feeling it right now.
Fittipaldi in second place. That battle that you see between Mario Andretti and Teo Fabi is not a battle for position. They're just running together on the circuit.
Remember, this is exactly the finishing order that we experienced last week in Cleveland. The Penske cars running 1-2. Incredible domination here in the center part of the season.
And it looks like Paul Tracy may in fact get several major accomplishments behind him. His third win, 2 in a row, and a Canadian winning for the first time in the IndyCars in front of his home crowd. Paul Tracy has taken the win here in the Molson Indy Toronto. Paul Tracy has acknowledged the white flag at the start-finish line, indicating one more lap to go. Mario Andretti made it back into the pits. They're still working on his car. Arie Luyendyk made it back into the pits. They did replace that tire, and he is back into the competition. And Scott Goodyear also made it, limping back into the pits as well. But we are on the final lap for Paul Tracy, looking for his 4th win this season, and a road course win once again. Nigel Mansell will continue in the points lead if they finish in this order, as one assumes they will. But Paul Tracy is certainly showing his power, and if he was sent out as the rabbit, he took it all the way to the checkered flag for Roger Penske.
And he is the walking wounded. Walking, not when he's in the racing car. He's been on crutches since that terrible crash on Friday here. Somebody else is off the road big time, but Paul Tracy in the car doesn't seem to have too much trouble.
No one in contest at the top of the order. Tracy followed by Mansell, followed by Rahal and Bossell. Fittipaldi picks up some good luck and moves into 5th place. the hill for the final time today in the Texaco Haviland 200. And Paul Tracy acknowledges the checker and takes the win. Watching for Nigel Mansell now. His wife happy with that one, of course. Well, Paul Tracy, one would have expected Nigel Mansell to be the master of the natural terrain road courses, but in fact, Paul Tracy has proven to be the road course master this year as he heads for yet another victory. Jens Wintrall with the white flag. The final lap of the 1993 PPG IndyCar World Series, and Paul Tracy merely has to hold on right at 2 miles now. He is unchallenged by his teammate Fittipaldi, who continues in second. Fittipaldi, in turn, is unchallenged by Lyondike. Scott Goodyear is in fourth. Unser Jr. is fifth. No one in challenge in the top 5 positions.
And if you look back at the what if he had won Mid-Ohio? What if he had won Milwaukee? What if he had won Phoenix? How that would have totally changed the face of this championship.
Paul Tracy climbs the hill for the last time in this 1993 season at Laguna Seca, down through the corkscrew, looking at the possibility of his 5th win of the season. As Derek suggests, what if this car, this man could perhaps have been the champion, but for 1 or 2 mistakes during the season. The final turn, the final straightaway ahead for Paul Tracy. And Paul Tracy climbs the hill. The Marlboro car, the Penske powered by Chevrolet, takes the checkered flag. Emerson Fittipaldi will come to the flag just behind Tracy, but Paul has done it. The Canadian has won at Laguna Seca. The white flag, 1 more lap to go, comes out for Paul Tracy. He runs alone, 12 seconds ahead of his teammate Emerson Fittipaldi. Bobby Unser, Little Al, those are some pretty critical points positions, sitting just in front of him, currently occupied by Guzman and Herta.
You know, however hard that he would charge right now would be determined by how much he thinks his front end is bent. We know the car's capable of doing it, but if he thinks he's got a problem, he can't brake hard, he can't take any chances. That's his problem.
So run safe rather than risk the car just to grab a couple of extra points there.
He's a smart young man. If he knows he's got a problem, and I know that Roger Penske would be telling him what he thought his opinion was of that same situation. Don't take a chance, don't bend it.
You can see the evidence of the contact with Little Al earlier. Every time we get a good look at the nose of Paul Tracy's car, that may be a scar that will come back to haunt him in future years. But for the moment, it gives him a potential victory with less than half a lap to go now on Belle Isle in Detroit. Final set of turns for Paul Tracy. So very close to Canada and many Canadians in this crowd. So he'll get a hearty reception as he comes down to the checkered flag. And there it is. The twin checkered flags come out. And Paul Tracy takes the win. Today will be the first time that Penske cars have won 5 races in a row. White flag comes out. The final mile for Paul Tracy. Down the backside, Unser and Fittipaldi, neither one in contest as we're in the final lap now. Paul Tracy making that final turn in. And ahead, the checkered flag waits. Jens Wintrall has it. And Paul Tracy has scored his first oval victory of his career. There's his mentor, Rick Mears. The white flag now comes out with 1 lap to go for Paul Tracy. Raoul Boisel and Villeneuve battling for second. Fittipaldi, Fabi, and Lyondike to some degree in this battle just up the hill behind them. But right now it is Teo Fabi trying his best to take 4th place away from Emerson Fittipaldi.
Oh, great fight. We've seen this at Laguna Seca so many times that it goes all the way down to the flag before this is decided. But Emerson, to our surprise, seems to have backed up a little bit since that last yellow flag situation.
Battles are spread out around the circuit now as Paul Tracy drives on the final lap. And this is the fight on the circuit. Teo Fabi inching closer to Emerson Fittipaldi. Paul Tracy on the climb up the hill now as we watch Fittipaldi and Fabi. Fabi looked to the inside. Fittipaldi makes his car just as wide as he can. No move there for Teo Fabi.
So Tracy down to the hairpin.
Paul Tracy coming down from the top of the hill, makes his turn onto the pit straight. And for the 8th time in his IndyCar career, slowing down as he comes off the final corner, Paul Tracy takes the checkered flag from Nick Finoro. And Penske has broken the record. 12 wins by the Penske team in a single season, breaking the modern record. Paul Tracy flashes across the start-finish line with the white flag being displayed. Newman Haas cars running first and second. Lola's out in front here. Remember how hard they struggled last year.
Remember that Newman Haas with 2 cars last year, including defending IndyCar champion Nigel Mansell, were unable to win a single race. And today, they run 1-2.
You know, the problem Ray Hall is going to have when they have the meetings after the race, if he doesn't get by Michael, is to say, we're really behind. He out-handled us by so much. We couldn't even get by with Michael having less than 2 gears of what we have.
The two third places in the first 2 races put Bobby Rahal on course for the kind of season that wins him a championship, Bobby, you know? He's always so consistent.
So Bobby Rahal, his last chances now if he's going to move into second place. For Paul Tracy, it's all but wrapped up. He's a full 5 seconds ahead of Michael Andretti as they came across the line last time. But Carl Haas has to be more than satisfied with what he has seen with his cars running first and second as Michael pitches and everybody can. And it looks like he brushed the wall. He did. He catches the wall on the other side. Rahal goes into second place. Michael Andretti just nips the wall coming through the chicane. Rahal now into second place.
He come out and hit that wall pretty hard. He just got it loose. He knew he had to keep his momentum up the corner. He tried, Paul, but he failed.
Oh, what a frustrating situation for Michael Andretti after a brilliant run with a disabled car to hold into second place. But you can't take anything away from this man. Paul Tracy scores the victory. His first for Newman Haas. Bobby Rahal will finish in second place. The accident on the last lap will give Scott Pruitt a third, Mauricio Gugelmin a fourth, and Danny Sullivan, Gugelmin's teammate, a fifth. So Pac West is going to look very strong here. And Paul Tracy has taken the day here in Surfers Paradise, Australia, while Michael Andretti ends his day disgustingly against the wall.
The Penske team has won twice this year. The Newman Haas team just once, but they lead this one now.
Paul Tracy, in fact, was that winner. As he comes off the corner, he'll see the white flag, indicating just 1 more mile to go. And he's got to be wondering about fuel. Paul Tracy takes and acknowledges the white flag. Here comes Al Unser Jr. across the line. Less than a mile to go now. Al Unser Jr. closes in just a bit. In fact, he crossed the line just under 2 seconds behind Paul Tracy as Paul Tracy relaxes just a bit. He screams down the back straightaway, makes that turn into turn 4. Al Unser Jr. continues his close. Paul Tracy, you watch for momentum, make sure he doesn't come out of the throttle or out of fuel as Al Unser Jr. closes right behind Paul Tracy, but it's not good enough. Paul Tracy takes his second win of the year. Al Unser Jr. comes home in second place.
And a huge cloud of white smoke.
Yellow, yellow,
Down
yellow,
in
Mike.
turn 1, we have a yellow flag. There's Roger Penske on the pit wall looking in the direction of the smoke.
That's the race. That'll be the race. They'll finish under a yellow, and Paul Tracy will win.
And there's Lee White in the foreground with Mario Andretti, that is, looking up the racetrack. I think it's just dawning on everybody that after all of that excitement, it appears that this race will end under yellow, down to Jackaroo.
I have not seen you smile like that, Roger Penske, since 1995.
Well, that was a great run. I tell you, Michael gave us a real run. This is a track that you got to handle all day. Paul did an outstanding job, and of course we needed this one. You know, we came up with no water last year, so maybe finishing 1 and 3 means we're back on the track. But I tell you, the engine ran great. I just got to hand it to all our guys back in England, the designers, and of course Tracy and Unser. You can't have 2 better pilots.
That's right, and I'll tell you what, very important, Gary.
And Lee White just passed on the message. This has got to be a heartbreaker, denying you a chance for the last couple of laps. Got to be heartbreaking.
Well, for sure, Mike really drove his heart out. The car was great. We really had the car to beat. It's unfortunate we had the flat, but you know, we'll get him next time.
Boy, this Swift is something on the ovals, guys.
Now let's take a look. You see the safety trucks to the right of your screen as Paul Tracy heads for the flag. There is Juan Fangio, apparently a massive engine meltdown for Fangio. brought out the yellow flag. Checkered flags wave. First victory for Penske Racing since Vancouver in 1995. The first win since June of '95 for Paul Tracy. There will be one lap to go next time by.
Whoa,
and Ray Hall slows.
Slow, and Paul Tracy really dove up underneath him.
The engine must be sputtering for Ray Hall, who slows dramatically.
Oh.
Tracy comes by with one to go.
Oh, Bobby rolled the dice.
What heartbreak for Bobby Ray Hall and his team as the white flag waves over Paul Tracy.
But Paul Tracy's still running in this, and Greg Moore's now closing a little bit on him.
Ray Hall in the pits for the splash and go. He'll try to get back into this race. They plug the starter at the back in case he needs it. Will we have a fifth different winner, or will Paul Tracy make it to the checkered flag for his second straight? Tracy went 27 races without a win 2 weeks ago in Nazareth, 20 for the Penske team. And now it appears they will take 2 in a row as Paul Tracy survives a spin to win the Rio 400. 234 laps in the book, 2 laps to go, and Tracy goes into the lead.
Patrick did not want to give that up.
Now Tracy has the lead, and Carpentier is going to have to watch out for Zanardi rushing up from behind, but Paul Tracy makes his bid for his third consecutive victory, and he pulls away from Patrick Carpentier with the white flag in the hands of Jim Swintal. It waves. Carpentier is stuck, Zanardi stuck behind slower traffic. Last lap for Paul Tracy. There is Patrick Carpentier.
Can he make it? He's still got that fuel situation. He's definitely conserving it now because Zanardi has dropped back. What a finish.
Off of turn 4 at Gateway, Paul Tracy comes to the line for his 13th career win. Third in a row. He goes into the record books as winner of the inaugural Motorola 300. Al Unser Jr. on the left, Roger Penske on the right. What a day.
This will be a remarkable run if in fact he is able to make it all the way as the white comes out. And if in fact he would run out, how far can he coast? And can he coast and still keep everybody back? We've seen some races end exactly that way. Rick Mears, Johnny Rutherford ran to the finish that way. But now, fourth turn. Paul Tracy comes to the line. And look at this. An amazing victory as Paul Tracy takes his 14th career win.
1 lap to go, and they've got him lean down even more, Paul.
Well, he's got plenty of pad. Well, listen to the engine. No, you listen for any hiccup there.
Nice and steady.
Coming up next, World News Tonight Sunday. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Watching Paul Tracy, he's still under power, circulating on the final lap. Dario Franchitti crossed the line, 13 seconds behind Paul Tracy in second place. Then Michael Andretti, Max Pappas, Brian Herta, and Mauricio Guzman. That was the top 5 as they passed under the white flag, signaling 1 more lap to go. And here is the unofficial results. Tracy's going to take it. He takes the checkered flag.
Great job, mate. Great job. Now, the TV people may be talking to you on the radio, okay?
The white flag comes out. 1 lap to go. Barry Green on the radio to Paul Tracy. And look at this. This is surely the last opportunity now for Jimmy Vasser. Is he prepared to take the gamble? It's the late-breaking battle down into turn 1, but no, it doesn't happen. Behind him, there was a battle between Servia and Herta. I'm not sure what happened there, but the two of them came in side by side, and Herta got ahead of Servia, looking in the background. So Brian Herta's moved up into 5th place. Good move from Herta. And he likes that turn 1. He took the lead there last year in the first part of the race, and he's managed to move into 5th place here. But the final lap here for Paul Tracy, for Helio Castroneves, and for Jimmy Vasser. These two so close together in the fight for second place, but who's it going to go to?
He thought about making a move down the inside of Jimmy Vasser, but he read there goes the race. He tried to get a run off that corner, and he missed the apex. He missed that apex, and he wasn't able to get the power down. So Castroneves has a clean run down the back straight, and second place it will be for Helio Castroneves.
It looks as though Paul Tracy's going to do it from 17th on the grid. Tracy, who won his first ever race here. Let's listen to the radio as he crosses the line.
Drive, Paul. What a fantastic drive, and the pit crew did a great job too. Just awesome, mate. I'll see you in the pit, victory lane.
Okay, Paul, plus 10. We need one more perfect lap. Be nice and smooth, nice and consistent here. Bring it home.
One more perfect lap. Maybe the oldest cliche in race broadcasting is, at this point in the race, he's listening for every strange noise. But it is true.
On a press conference the other day with Dario Franchitti, someone said, well, really, everything's gone wrong that can go wrong this season. What else is there? And Dario thought about it for just a moment. He said, oh, there's actually quite a bit more that can go wrong. When you're Paul Tracy, he's let his lead come down now to 8.4 seconds. It's not a big deal. He's just going to be very precise. You don't want to lose focus. You still want to push his last lap. Still a minute 44, a little slower than the rest of the field. 139 miles an hour. Still quick enough, though. He's got plenty of margin here. He wants to stay focused, stay on the gas, but be just a little careful with everything he's doing.
He crossed the line 8.5 seconds ahead of Fernandez. While he can slow it down and be careful, it's also dangerous to relax it too much. Then you ruin your rhythm, and that's when mistakes happen. Jan Vikas.
Kenny Breck still goes by here, guys, with that bad-sounding engine, but the good news is that Scott Remke maybe doesn't have it right. It appears as though Kenny Breck may be able to bring that thing home, even though it doesn't sound healthy.
And right now it looks for a potential podium finish for Kenny Breck. Paul Tracy working the final lap. And at this point, he has to be feeling pretty good about it. The last move up through Thunder Valley, under the bridge at 13. The final turn, 14 ahead, still an uphill drive. He crests the hill, the checkered flags are ahead. Left and right, Paul Tracy has taken the win in the Motorola 220.
Position one on fuel.
White flag. Now we're going to see.
We got a slow car ahead, nice and smooth now. One more to go.
Tony Sekeli, Paul's engineer. Great engineer, great coach as well.
A week ago, Tracy dropped all the way back to 22nd, came roaring up to the field, took the win. Similar performance at Long Beach from 17th, qualified position to the lead. This time he started on the outside of the front row. The pass actually, Franchitti's problem, less than Tracy's pass. Working the final lap.
What a great finish it would be for these two drivers. Very close friends to the late Greg Moore. For Canadian Paul Tracy to win here in Vancouver would mean just a huge, huge amount to the Moore family. I would imagine it'd be a very emotional celebration.
Michael Andretti has fallen off the pace and has begun falling back through the order as we continue to watch the lead. So far, they've been pretty well behaved. Checkered flags in the hands.
Oh, King again,
and Paul,
great job, beautiful.
Paul Tracy has taken the win.
One lap to go, this time by the grandstand. White flag for Paul Tracy, for Fernandez, for Pappas, running closely together. There is Mad Max. Another terrific performance by the Sigma Autosport team.
The traffic might be far enough ahead for Paul not to be bothered. I
think it is. I think it is. Paul Tracy looking for his third win on the Milwaukee Mile and a place in history as the third winningest driver at this fabled track. Checkered flags for Tracy. And perhaps it's appropriate
The white flag there.
that the winningest active driver in the Champ Cars should be up there on point when the checkered flag eventually waves over the first race for the Bridgestone Presents the Champ Car World Series here in St. Petersburg. Mother Vivian. Long is known as a sleepy retirement town. St. Petersburg is very anxious to shake that image. They point out they are the anchor of one of the 15 largest markets in the United States.
part of the high-tech corridor here in Central Florida. They've got Major League Sports, home to a Super Bowl winning football team. Downtown redevelopment, some of the most beautiful beaches and parks along the waterfront you'll find anywhere. And they were very, very anxious to bring Champ Car racing here to help show the world that St. Pete is an entirely new town.
Got wide in 10 again.
Try to give the corner workers a thrill. You know, PT. Once more through 13 and 14 and then on to the front straightaway, and the crowd will come to its feet to welcome home Paul Tracy, winner of the inaugural Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Bell luck.
White flag for Paul Tracy.
2.3 seconds in hand over Michel Jourdain. Everything coming together for Paul Tracy. With a team that is fully behind him. Last couple years at Team Cool Green did not have the full support, very acrimonious. Everyone's rallied around Paul. He's responding. He's in the best race of his best condition of his life. On his bike a lot over the winter. Called me once and said, I've been on my bike so much I've got a hole worn in my backside. Sunday's going for 70-mile rides.
And he said he wondered why he was doing it sometimes when he knew his competitors might be over at the dance club. But it may be paying off now. This is the battle between Fernandez and Junqueira.
PT up there, Tagliani, these guys are having, Johnson Controls, they're having a great run as a new team.
That they are, but right now there are flash bulbs popping in the grandstand as Paul Tracy makes his way around a high-speed victory lap. For the first time in 21 years, one driver will win both of the opening races of the season.
Brilliant.
Paul Tracy wins.
Super sick. Excellent job.
White flag. And now it's about this man, Paul Tracy, who came to these streets of Long Beach, California in 1991 as a rookie. In 93, he picked up his first victory. In 94, he sat on pole but did not win. He did win from 17th place on the starting grid in the year 2000, and now he looks to become the first man to win 3 consecutive races to open the season in 3 consecutive different locations in Champ Car history.
And I said earlier, there's going to be a good test of Paul Tracy's maturity. That one lap on the first stop that they couldn't go as far as Jourdain sealed their fate relative to him. But he took what the race would give him. It was second place until Jourdain had his troubles. Ran as hard as he could, was able to overcome that deficit relative to Fernandez. And this is a really smart victory with a little bit of luck for Paul Tracy.
I can't wait for these interviews after the race. What a day for everyone involved in the 29th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Victory to Paul Tracy and the Players Forsyth team.
Hey, Paul, this is the white flag. White flag. We are plus 6.9 seconds, so be really smart here. Last lap, bring it home nice and smooth.
And I'm sure that's what the team is thinking when they say that to him. Be smart here. You got 6.9 seconds. Fernandez is going along at a reasonable clip. You don't have to get him.
And what a difference in a couple of words. It shows the maturity and the calming influence of Tony Sicali. He says, nice and easy rather than don't do something stupid.
Should he hold on for the remainder of this lap, Paul Tracy will become the 5th different winner in the last 5 Champ Car races. At Milwaukee, Michel Jourdain. Laguna Seca, Patrick Carpentier. At Portland, Adrian Fernandez. At Cleveland, Sebastian Bourdais. And here in Toronto, it appears it will be Paul Tracy. And a crowd of some 73,000 people, predominantly pro-Canadian, will come to their feet to welcome home native son Paul Tracy from Toronto, who will win.
You are the king of Toronto, and great job. Yeah, that a boy. Good. Thanks, Paul. Great job. 3 guys, fantastic job. Way to go.
4 times this race has been won from pole by Michael Andretti twice, Dario Franchitti once, and Juan Pablo Montoya once. And the white flag there is a special one this weekend. It is a City of Vancouver Olympic bid flag. About 3 weeks ago, they were successful in that bid, and the 2010 Olympic Winter Games will be coming to Vancouver. And if you've never been to this great city, put it on your schedule. An absolutely fabulous place to visit, with the soaring coastal range across the harbor, the cruise ships and float planes flying in and out, fabulous restaurants, a very cool place to visit. There is Vivian, Paul Tracy's mom, who promised he would win this race just as she did 2 weeks ago. She wrote the check and her son cashed it on both occasions. This will be the second win for Players Forsyth Racing on Canadian soil. 19th career win for the team. Number 24 in Paul Tracy's glittering career, and that long elusive first championship cannot be far away.
Your mom says don't screw up the donuts.
Don't screw up the donuts.
Healthy off for the donuts.
Victory for Paul Tracy.
Bring it home.
Montier now 7/10 of a second, and Ryan Hunter-Reay picked up a couple of tenths. He's only got about 2 miles of race to go. Paul Tracy can hang on. He will pick up a career-high 6th victory of the season. The single-season record in Champ Car racing is 8 wins. Set by Michael Andretti in 1991 and equaled by Al Unser Jr. in 1994. It'll be the 20th win for Players Forsyth Racing. And it will give Paul Tracy a 20-point lead in the championship over Bruno Junqueira.
Bruno was the first guy to sweep every available point when he was fastest on both days and led the most laps at Elkhart Lake. And now Paul has answered back. Paul foreshadowed a little bit. He says, Bruno's starting exactly where I did last weekend.
6th place. Across the line they come. First ever 1-2 finish for Players Forsyth. And a 6th seasonal victory that puts Paul Tracy back into the championship lead.
This is still huge for Dominguez. This is still huge for him.
Some of the moves he made in Denver, you think he's close enough there?
Just don't use the brakes the whole last lap.
Those yellows are for Carpentier's car.
We bid au revoir.
Green, red, and white, I think, are
for Dominguez. Hello.
Wait a minute.
Thank
Aren't
you.
They celebrating a lap early? You do that after the checkers.
This is huge for him. That's a great team. We said it many times. They're the most improved team this season. Keith Wiggins has come here with an enormous amount of experience, including Formula One, including winning the Formula 3000 championship. There is the lady. There's the fat lady on the left side.
And Derek, last year when they were talking about adding a second car, which went to Roberto Moreno, everybody thought, now wait a minute. I mean, you guys have had middling results with 1 car. Are you ready to go for 2? Now they get 2, and they're twice as good as they were with 1.
We gave a lot of credit to Moreno to tuning up that team, but I think we probably didn't give enough credit in the early going to Dominguez's engineer, Brian Ma, who also came on board. Those two have formed a very tight bond friendship, much like the one between Paul Tracy and Tony Sekeli. In this case, though, they're very much equals. They trained together and have really brought Dominguez into a whole nother realm.
If he holds on for this victory, his 7th of the year, Paul Tracy will match the championship winning totals of Cristiano D'Amata in 2002, Juan Pablo Montoya in 1999, and Alex Zanardi in 1998. The title is not yet clinched for Paul Tracy, but he does get the victory here in Mexico City.
I'm not sure I'd stand out near there with Paul Tracy coming down.
We'll have the video Rick Rice is shooting for us next week at California Speedway. And there is the Vanderbilt Cup being hoisted by a very emotional Paul Tracy.
He's in tears.
Chris Pook, CEO of the series, comes over.
What a fight this has been for Paul. Tommy, you've been close to him all year long. This is a man who's overcome by emotion right now.
And there's the white flag, 1 lap to go. complete the next to last lap, and the interval is 5.1 seconds. Tracy, the champion last year of the Champ Car Series, is off to a very good start in 2004, it would appear. For those of you who missed the early stages of the race, Jimmy Vasser, always a competitor and always a threat to win, was eliminated on the first lap, first turn, in a 3-car accident that also eliminated Alex Marafico and Tarso Marquis. And again, except for the times where he has come in for a pit stop, the lead during those times, Tracy has led the entire distance after starting in 3rd position and pulling a really impressive move at the start of the race to duck inside of Junqueira to take the lead. And here comes Tracy off the hairpin. And Paul Tracy wins the 30th anniversary Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Junqueira second, and Sebastian Bourdais finishes in 3rd spot.
Tracy heading to the white flag. 1 to go at Vancouver. Let's listen in as Tracy brings that car home. Watching the battle for second, here's Jourdain. Running in 2nd spot. A.J. Allmendinger a second further back in the 10 car. Oh, and Jourdain overcooks it. Here, see if Tracy does get any words from his crew, from Neil Mickelwright or any of the other boys.
Both Jourdain and Allmendinger are on their push to pass right now.
They've burned it up, in fact, but you do get that final burst, maybe a little overtime. You can hear the fans applauding Tracy as he goes by each grandstand here. He has dominated in car number 1 today.
Believe it or not, he probably can hear that in the car.
Last couple of corners ahead for Tracy, bidding for his 3rd Vancouver victory. And back-to-back wins from the pole.
Checker flag, Paul. You are the winner.
And here he comes to the stripe with Paul Tracy. Hand in the air, collects the victory, his 2nd of the season in the Champ Car World Series. Fans on their feet, applauding their native son.
2.3 seconds behind leader Paul Tracy now, with 5 to go this time by. White flag being shown because of the time issue.
Couple of brave moves by Paul Tracy earlier on to take the lead from Jimmy Vasser, and he continues with the speed all day.
Last time around for Paul Tracy and the checkered flag. Paul Tracy wins his 4th Champ Car event here at Milwaukee.
Okay, Baldy, that's the white flag, white flag, plus 3.5.
J.D. Wilbur getting set with the checkers for Paul Tracy. Mickelwright telling him to be nice and smooth as they hit the backstretch. There is Allmendinger. He's got his hands full now with Oriol Servia. Good battle for second on the last lap here. Maybe we can have a look at that as we get down into the turns.
Oh, boys, look at this. Servia has come on so well. He seldom makes mistakes. We saw him off the road a little bit in practice yesterday. Did a loop. In fact, went off the road this morning in warm-up also. Can he catch AJ?
Allmendinger trying to run second here. Hasn't yet been to victory lane. Allmendinger has finished 8th, 10th, 2nd at Milwaukee to Tracy, 5th at Portland. So this would be his 2nd runner-up finish of the season. Last time around, that's the entrance to pit road. Tracy in command. Heading for the checkers in Cleveland.
Beautiful stop, guys. Beautiful stop.
Now, of course, with Paul Tracy, catching him is one thing, passing him is something else.
But he has a mechanical advantage. They're not running the same kind of cars. One has to save fuel, and look at that, power to pass. When it comes down to power to pass, Paul Tracy is going to be defenseless because he'll run out before Dornbos.
1 lap to go. Last time around, it's 2.1 miles here. Dornbos draws right up on Tracy. Now, Tracy's had a problem getting off turn 1 here. He may be a sitting duck on the last lap.
Dornbos has to figure out, when do I use my power to pass? Do I save it now, or do I use it on the next straightaway?
Couple of corners to go at Cleveland. Paul Tracy trying for his first champ car win in 2 years.
There's still no power to pass. There's not the flashing light on the back of the car yet. Dornbos is going to wait till he comes off of turn number 8.
Less than a lap to go at Cleveland. It gets no better than this. We are glad to have you with us on CBS Sports. The Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of Cleveland, presented by LaSalle Bank.
He should be on the power to pass now.
Not yet.
Still don't see the flashing light on the back for Dornbos.
Couple of turns to go. Why hasn't he hit the button?
Paul Tracy may have this thing.
Tracy, final couple of corners. Here comes PT headed for the line of the checkers. Dornbos, does he jump on the button? No, he doesn't. Tracy. And the checkered flag waves, and Paul Tracy somehow takes the victory in Cleveland. And the question for Robert Dornbos will be, why didn't he hit the Cosworth power to pass? He's still got 35 seconds in the bank, and he never used it.